Sweet.
Good morning, everyone. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Okay, welcome, everyone. Lisa, do you have my the next meeting in the? Okay, could you please?
It's the
What is the
workshop will be
date?
the
8th? Okay, so we'll meet here on Tuesday, the 8th, for our workshop meeting at 10:30 a.m. in this meeting room. And we will be back here for the public meeting on the 9th in this meeting room at 10:30 a.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call roll?
Mr. Bernard,
Here.
Mr. Malloy,
Here.
Mr. Hernandez.
Here.
Item number 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the workshop session dated March 25th, 2025, and the regular meeting dated March 26th, 2025, and accept and approve the video recordings of both meetings as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second that?
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 2 is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 3 is to approve change order number 1 with Vendrick Construction, Inc. for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds 4-H building project located at 899 Everett Hall Road, Cortland, in the amount of $9,116, revising the total contract amount to $606,916. Change order number 1 is necessary due to the following: the excavation and removal of existing concrete footings to include additional gravel and concrete, and to extend the proposed 2-inch water line approximately 100 feet to the location of the existing water main with installation of tapping saddle and 2-inch curb stop with box.
Motion to approve?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 4 is to approve expending funds originally allocated by the American Rescue Plan Act Memorandum of Understanding for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds 4-H building and related structures project located at 899 Everett Hall Road, Cortland, with Amos Welding in the amount of $18,000, revising the total contract amount to $624,916.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 5 is to approve expending funds originally allocated by the American Rescue Plan Act Memorandum of Understanding for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds 4-H building and related structures project with 84 Lumber in the amount of $10,000, revising the total contract amount to $634,916. This is specifically related to the appurtenances to construct and complete the 4-H building and related structures project.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, with discussion, Madam Clerk, I wanted to make everyone aware that these funds are coming from ARPA monies that were appropriated, agreed on, and approved by the attorney representing the county. And that was generated, I believe, between 22 and 2023. So no new monies are coming out of any funds or any general or any taxpayer-related funding. This is all ARPA money. Yes.
I'd also like to make a note with that too. These buildings are going to be done before fair time, so I'm super excited to see the progress and see them out there working on it now, and it's going to be a great way to showcase to our residents at the fair this year, all the improvements.
Okay, item number 6 is to approve change order number 1 with Sexton and Associates Architects for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds 4-H building project. Change order number 1 is to include the optional bidding fee in the amount of $1,840, revising the total contract amount to $636,756. A special note was included on the journal entry stating the proposal includes an optional fee of $1,840. However, the optional fees were not included in the purchase order for Sexton and Associate Architects.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 7 is to approve expending funds originally allocated by the American Rescue Plan Act Memorandum of Understanding for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds 4-H building and related structures project. And this is with Ron Store Commercial Sound in the amount of $82,091, revising the total contract amount to $718,847. And this is specifically for the addition of a public address system.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 8 is to authorize payment to the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition for the annual membership dues in the amount of $1,500. Membership in the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition allows the Workforce Development Board as well as the Ohio Means Job Center access to a broad coalition of manufacturers across the Mahoning and Shenango valleys.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to receive and place on file the January and February 2025 monthly financial reports for the Trumbull County Tourism Bureau.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 10 is to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to close the road listed, and that's Hubbard Bedford Road, County Highway 6 in Hubbard Township. Closing dates Monday, April 7th, 2025 through Friday, May 16th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 11 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special hauling permit to haul steel coils requested by the companies listed, PI&I Motor Express and Jaro Transportation Services, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item number 12 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the right-of-way permit requested by the company listed, Enbridge Gas Ohio.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 13 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special hauling permit to move overweight equipment requested by the company listed, Rich's Towing and Service.
Motion to approve?
Second motion?
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 14 is to authorize the amendment of the Ohio Department of Development role assignment forms for various grant programs administered through the Office of Community Development. The Ohio Department of Development's Office of Community Development implemented an online grants management system to be used by grantees for programs administered by the Planning Commission Office, and to authorize Rick Hernandez, President of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners, to execute the submitted forms. The amendment is necessary to add Gina Magazine, Executive Administrator for KO Consulting LLC, who is contracted with the City of Girard, to the role assignment form in order to apply for neighborhood revitalization grant funding.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 15 is to receive the petition signed by the owners of lots and lands situated on Wilson Avenue, Aspenwall Drive, and Denora Avenue in Howland Township, requesting Trumbull County to provide for the construction and maintenance of water lines to serve said lots and lands, and to refer said petitions to the Trumbull County sanitary engineer for his review and recommendations.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 16 is to authorize Richard Hernandez, President of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners, to sign and accept for use substantial completion the Scoville Drive Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project number 5-S-18, located in Vienna Township, Trumbull County Combined Sewer District.
Motion to approve?
Second your motion?
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 17 is to approve the amendment listed be added to the Senior Services Advisory Council Conflict of Interest Statement. And that is a member who has any conflict, including conflicts which arise during the period commencing 1 year prior to the member's appointment, shall be ineligible for membership on the council unless the conflict is remedied in accordance with Article 9, Paragraph B of the Trumbull County Senior Levy Advisory Council bylaws. If such ineligibility arises or is discovered during the member's term and cannot be remedied, then that member shall immediately resign or be subject to removal.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it for discussion. I have some questions on this, and what I have on this is saying that if a member comes up with any type of conflict, they shall resign or be removed from the whole board. I think every one of us in every capacity on any board may come across a conflict of some sort with maybe one vendor, maybe it's one issue, and you recuse yourself from it, you abstain from it, you don't participate in the discussion for it. But to state that they should resign or remove from the whole board, I don't think that follows suit with normal decorum of being on boards, especially serving on a volunteer board. If we're a community and we're doing community projects and we're trying to bring the community in the loop of things, I think we're excluding people. You're going to come across conflicts, as we on the board will occasionally. There's been times in the past where I've abstained. Other commissioners in the past have abstained. I just feel this might be a little harsh here to say, well, we found a conflict, you're gone, we'll replace you with somebody else. And, good volunteers are few and far between and hard to find. And when a conflict may arise, this wording worries me a little bit that a conflict on one issue where they may deal with 100 things in a year could exclude a good person from serving on the other 99 issues. My opinion.
So are you asking, would you like to table this item to reword it, or would you want to reword it now?
I don't know about if there is a rewording for something like this. I mean, it's already a given that if you have a conflict, you abstain. I don't know if we need to have a bylaw item or if they need to have a bylaw item for that. But at this point, I guess maybe we could
as it
table it
stands-
and kick it back and advise them that here's what we're thinking. If they want to reward it, if they want to withdraw it, maybe leave it on the board to do that. I don't want to get rid of a good board member because they may have one little conflict with maybe a vendor is a next door neighbor or something.
And I agree with that, but the way it reads now is subject to removal, and I think that needs to come out or resign.
Right.
So,
Commissioners, I don't think it's an emergency, so I think we should just table the item,
Okay.
and then we could talk to Diane or.
Or we could just vote no on it. And then if they want to bring it back in a different form, they
We
can
could
do that.
too.
okay,
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take the vote. Mr. Bernard.
no.
Mr. Malloy.
No.
Mr. Hernandez.
No.
Item number 18 is to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners clerk to advertise for sealed proposals for community senior centers to be provided to senior citizens, individuals 60 years or older residing in Trumbull County. The service contracts will be for a 24-month period beginning September 1st, 2025 and ending August 31st, 2027.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 19 is to amend the Senior Service Advisory Council bylaws as voted upon at Senior Services Advisory Council February 27th, 2025. And I'll read that Article V-A. Unless otherwise determined, the Advisory Council shall meet on the fourth Thursday monthly at 11 a.m. The location to be determined and notified prior to meeting per Ohio Sunshine laws.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 20 is a routine liquor permit application. This is Class C1, Dolgen Midwest LLC, doing business as Dollar General Store 3961 in Champion Township.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Item 21 is to establish the creation of the TCSO Corrections Opioid Fund Number 145 for use by the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office was awarded an opioid remediation grant from the Office of the Attorney General in the amount of $250,000.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on to item 22, I have a motion that I'd like to entertain from the floor and pass out a copy to each of the commissioners, and I'll read the motion and we'll see where it goes, okay? I'm making a motion to adjust the water rate schedule in Trumbull County Combined Water Districts to reflect the bulk water distribution, operation, maintenance, and replacement costs, local capital costs to satisfy the Ohio EPA requirements to remain a self-supporting utility relative to the existing county rates as presently enforced. Amendment is necessary to reflect the adjustments in the user's charges. Rate adjustments to become effective with the monthly bills dated after April 1st, 2025 within the Bezetta Champion, Braceville Township, Howland, Mineral Ridge, Mosquito Creek, Southeast, and Warren Township subdivisions beginning April 2025. Special note, the approval of the increase will be contingent upon the agreed terms set forth by the Board of Commissioners. First, the $11.75 rate will be reevaluated in 6 months, October 2025, to give the Board of County Commissioners, in coordination with the Sanitary Engineers Department, time to assess the rate increase and better assess future needs for additional increases. Next, the board will formally request a state performance audit of the Water Department funds, operations, and billing under the Sanitation Engineers Department. Next, the Board of Commissioners will create an advisory panel comprised of one representative from each entity that is a customer of the Trumbull County Water Department. The Board of Commissioners will appoint one chairperson of the said advisory panel to serve until vacated. The panel will provide input quarterly to the Board of Commissioners and the Sanitation Engineers Department to ensure that the Water Department fiscal subsidiary initiatives are timely, innovative, cost-effective, and meet the greatest needs of Trumbull County and its constituents. The panel will meet quarterly, and the chairperson will coordinate the date, time, and location of which will be made publicly available in coordination with the Ohio Open Act. The advisory panel will be responsible for complying with all Ohio Open Act requirements pertaining to public meetings and/or minute taken and recordings. And then also I have a rate structure, and basically what it's doing is taking the existing rates and making them all $11.75 per 1,000 gallons. And from that point on, everything else will be reevaluated later.
Okay, Commissioner, I have some questions on your motion, if I could.
Sure.
This advisory panel, first off, the entities are going to pick their representatives and then we're going to pick the chairperson after they pick their representatives.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be determined at a later date. And they're going to meet quarterly. The one question I have with this and the one hang up I guess I have with this, and I appreciate you coming to the table. We had many meetings on this, back and forth discussion, and we had a wonderful meeting Monday with the trustees. It seemed like to the man, to the township, to the entity, they all agreed we need some increases to make that department solid and whole. And we had full cooperation at that meeting. I think it was a wonderful meeting, that we all learned a lot at the same time. And so I do agree about the advisory panel. I think they want to be involved in the decisions that will help sell it to their customers too, to realize the science and the math together. Secondly, the audit. I welcome any audit on any department we ever have. I'll never turn down an audit if it's going to make us better and more visible to the community and shine light on everything that we do. So I think that's a great idea too. The 1175 is a little less than what they say they need, but I can stomach that for the first time frame until the board looks things a little deeper. The only hangup I have is this October. That gives 6 months, and we were expecting these entities to have a meeting, nominate somebody, vote on somebody, schedule meetings together that work for everybody, and meet quarterly, which would be 2 times between now and October in less than 6 months. Then the only data they're looking at is summertime data, when we do all the flushing, when most of the water is wasted through flushing that we have to do to get the chlorine and the chemicals to reasonable levels. They're not going to look at a whole snapshot of a whole year of the water rates. We've been told they're different usage between winter and summer. Nobody's washing cars. Nobody's filling swimming pools. There's a lot less usage in the winter. To be fair to everybody in this process, I don't think this can be done in 6 months, and I don't think an audit can even be scheduled within 6 months with the state. I would like to extend that to 1 year. And if we gave them 1 year, I think that gives a fair 1 year's usage for the committee to evaluate, to have fair data and not just half of a picture. It gives a whole picture of a year. We budget them for a year. I think maybe 1 year is more reasonable. And I could support everything you said here if you give it a year.
Commissioners, and I'd like to speak. I would concur with everything Commissioner Malloy says. I do believe 6 months, Commissioner Bernard. By the time, and I'm in agreement with any audits. They do get audited yearly as it is now. So what we're looking for, I understand, if we could find things that could save our residents money, then down the road we could look at that and maybe even reduce the rates. But I believe at this point, 6 months is very inadequate of a time frame. So I would agree with you, Commissioner Malloy, at the 1 year, Commissioner Bernard. The 1175, I do have issue with. I do believe we should be at $12. I have no reason to believe that the sanitary district, they are professional. They have done their due diligence. I do, and I was there yesterday at the sanitary department. Very well run, well oiled machine there. To break even, you're at $12. So I do have issue with the 1175. But Commissioner Bernard, if you would agree to the 1 year, I know that this is an emergency. We're drowning. We're 400,000 in the hole since the first quarter here, and we're going to be 1.6 million in the hole moving forward. I don't think the EPA is going to be very happy with us. It's mandated. We have to cover our costs, but I will agree. I will agree to a 1 year at 1175, Commissioner Bernard. But I do believe moving forward, we are going to have to incrementally raise these rates. I know that we were talking 12 and a quarter. I don't know that'll suffice. I would hope that after all the audits and the advisory panels, whatever we find, that we're be able to adequately fund the water department. Remember, we're not making a profit here. This is just a break-even point, just to offer clean, drinkable water to the residents.
And as we should never make a profit off of utilities.
Exactly. And I agree with that. Commissioner, motions on the floor. You made a motion?
No,
I make the
made-
motion.
You-
So what you're telling me is you want to take it from 6 months to 1 year and leave everything else the same. I would agree to that. I just like to point out one other thing. You said that they're audited and they are yearly, but it's not a performance audit. And I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a performance audit and we're looking for input from the township trustees to let's make sure that everything is correct out there. And I know one thing, a couple years ago when the Board of Commissioners raised the sewer rates, one of the complaints from the township trustees was that they weren't involved. Now, today, we're going to make them involved. And I think this is the right way to go to see exactly where we're at. They've been in debt for a long time. They've been in debt. They've been running a deficit for 5 years. Last year, they lost 1.5 million. So this is nothing new for that department to be losing money. So
Well, and I think also too, both commissioners, a lot of this stuff goes back 15 years. A lot of this stuff goes back 30 years from when these districts were first built and formed and all the way even back to the 60s and 50s. I think when you're dealing with water nationwide, politics corrupts the science. And I think there's been a lot of political influence over the past 50 years with water and the way the water districts were set up and who built them and who owned them and who managed them. And I think by doing what we're doing here with the audit, with the advisory panel, with them meeting the needs and just breaking even, I think removes politics out of the equation and lets the scientists do the right thing without the political influence.
I totally agree with you. Although I would just add, I think more politics have been involved in the last 5 or 6 years than the last 10, 15, 30 years, whatever you want to say. But it definitely been a lot of politics in the last few years there. And hopefully this will remove all that from it. And so, you know what, I thank you guys for supporting this.
Commissioners,
I mean, this goes back, water wars go back to mob wars in Chicago and everywhere else on who was building the lines and who got the payoffs. I mean, there's a long line of corruption in water in America. And I'm talking all the major cities everywhere when it comes to infrastructure type issues. So
we actually are blessed to have water, actually, here.
We are.
very blessed to have water. Commissioners, before the vote, I think the sanitary district, Bob Mariano, you would like to speak?
If possible, just
Well,
1 minute.
can we do that, commissioners, before the vote? Commissioner Bernard?
I'm okay to hear what he has to say. I think
Go ahead.
we probably know, but
Bob Myrano, Sanitary Engineers, just thank you for the proposal, Commissioner Bernard. As I said at the meeting on Monday, as I said at the workshop, we're perfectly fine with the performance audit. We welcome it. If there's any improvements that can be made, we certainly want to do that. Advisory Council, we welcome that as well. My biggest hangup would be if we do 6 months or a year, when we go out for loans, we present forward-looking financial statements. So if I'm only going to say we have revenue of 1175 for 1 year, and then it remits back to the original rate structure where we're at, we'll show huge losses in year 2 going forward. I'm fine if you want to say 1175, $12 is where we'd like to be. We can live with 1175. I would like the time frame removed just for future projects. You're handcuffing us with a 1 year. The advisory council and performance audit, if there's anything that needs to be changed, it can always be changed. But a 1 year, 6 month thing could limit grant opportunities for this department.
But what's the difference? You've been running a deficit for 5 years. So I don't understand your argument on that.
Well, and it's.
I mean, if you're looking for borrowing money on loans, I mean, if anybody looked at that, they saw a deficit going on. So.
And that's why we're here asking for the rate, because
Well,
it is.
and we're saying, yeah, we're going to give you a rate. We're going to give you 1175.
And that's for the 1 year. So everything from 27 forward, right now will show large losses.
Let's just see what the panel comes up with, the audit comes up, and we can go. We can always readjust it if we have to. Okay.
Oh, and that's what
Right.
I'm saying. If without a time frame, you could always adjust it as
To-
well.
Just,
well, I think this 1 year, the 1 year is a review. We're not saying when it expires in 1 year, you get nothing. You know, you're down to zero and then we have to start over. I think, that's where it is and then adjustment would be made up or down at that time. Am I correct on that? I mean, we're not saying on October 1st, they get no money.
Well, I get, so is it 1175 going forward?
Until we review it again. At that time, we review it.
So
We can adjust it up or down at that time based on what the advisory committee says and your figures say.
So after 1 year, it's not going to go back to our current rate structure.
Correct.
So just to be
Correct.
clear,
That's-
just to be clear,
Oh, we'd like to have that happen, but I'm not sure that can happen, right?
Mr. Mariano, just to be clear, what you're saying is if we put a time limit on it, you are going to sacrifice the possibility of grants?
Well,
No.
if I can use 1175 going forward for everything, that's okay.
So you don't want to
I
be
was thinking
stuck in a
after-
year at 11.75?
Well, at 1 year at 1175 and then it goes back to the current
Yeah,
rate
no.
structure, we would suddenly show losses again in the future.
No, we're going to
Yeah,
set
I don't-
1175 and it's there until we adjust it up or down at that
So
point.
we're just going to review the rate in a year.
That's the way I see
Right.
it.
Oh,
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that's, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
There's one thing that we all know. We know the fund is broke, okay? And that's why the rate increase has to happen. We either have to do this or the water gets turned off,
Right,
okay?
I agree.
I mean, but what we're saying is we're going to have township input, which is vitally important.
We have to be fiscally responsible, just as the townships do to their citizens. We have to be in compliance with EPA and ORC. And what this board is doing is being fiscally responsible with this.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're going to take politics out of it, okay?
Mr. Mariano, at 11.75, where do we end up moving forward? Are we going to be at a deficit? Where are we going to be?
So $12 is what we calculated as our rate for the rest of it.
But you said you can live with 1175.
If that's what the board wants,
Right.
we'll
Okay.
make it work.
And we still have a little buffer in there. We're not at that broke point yet.
A little over $200,000.
Okay, so we have
So
your
all we're going to
motion.
do is change it to 1 year then.
So you'll change it to
Review?
April 2026. That's how your motion sits then?
Yes, sir.
Everything the way it is
Yep,
with that
yep.
change?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
And I also make a motion to remove items 22 and 23 from the agenda.
Second the motion?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Mariano.
Sorry, Bob Mariano, Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Controller. Did that include the RIF?
Yes.
Yes.
And the structure, it's the same and is.
Yeah. And Bob, I have a copy of it here for you and when we're done, okay? Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip down to item 24. To authorize Richard Hernandez, President of the Board of Commissioners, to enter into a preliminary participatory agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the rerouting of a water line along State Route 46, just to the north and south of the intersection with East Market Street at Howland Corners. This agreement is necessary for ODOT to relocate a Trumbull County water line that will be affected by ODOT project number TRU State Route 46 0.07.81. With input from the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department, ODOT will be responsible for all necessary design, engineering, and construction. However, Trumbull County must pay ODOT 100% of the costs incurred by the state, which is currently estimated to be $439,940.
Motion to approve?
Second with discussion.
Yes.
I know we met with ODOT here and they had lowered the price, but what they were doing in essence was moving money from the other project to this project. And then we would just supplement the difference, not the whole amount. So in reality, it's an additional $200,000 or so out of our RIF fees that we have on file, which I believe are at around $500,000 in the sanitary department. I'm still leaving them with some RAF funds. But we don't want to hold this project up. It is something that goes back to contracts years and years ago again. We never thought we'd have to move a water line, but we do to continue on with the improvements they have at East Market Street. This comes to us with recommendations from Howland trustees and the administrator that they would like for us to move on this and just be done with it. We could fight it. I don't see a need to expend any more resources on fighting it. ODOT holds the cards, and I think they know what they've done to us. And hopefully we'll make up for it somewhere down the road in the next project.
So in reality, we're only going to give 200 and some thousand and not 400, correct?
I believe that that's what was said by
Mr.
the
Mariano.
ODOT representative when he was at our workshop a couple weeks ago. Bob?
Commissioners, Bob Mariano, Sanitary Engineers Controller. The Diverging Diamond project cost, I believe, about $650,000. Ron Watson, our water superintendent back there, was able to re-engineer some of the project and save the county about $200,000 on the DDI project. When ODOT had came, they basically said they were going to take that $200,000 and apply it to this project. For accounting and transparency, what the county would like is that pipe and money will be returned to us, and then we would essentially use that to fund this project. But when he said the project cost was reduced to $239,000, the project cost wasn't reduced. He was just applying our overpayment from the DDI to the Howland Corners project. So we'll use about $239,000 out of our $500,000 RIF plus the savings from the DDI to pay for this.
And there's no way our water department could have known this new project was going to come forth 10, 15 years later. And this is something that we couldn't have planned better for it.
I mean, we wouldn't have known 10 or 15 years. I think Ron had known for maybe a year or two.
No, I mean, when the original water lines were put in there, we didn't know there was going to be an improvement down the road that was going to make us have to move them.
No.
It's a necessary project. We can't hold this up any longer, and we absolutely must move forward with it. This is towards economic development, and they've been held up long enough. So, you know, I think they're at a standstill now without the money. So we definitely have to free up that money.
May just take a minute of your time. Yes, I
Name-
appreciate you.
name,
Jamie
please.
Fenelon, Howland Township. I appreciate you addressing this. Certainly, I was here several weeks ago and asked for a status report. We've worked diligently, all of the parties, to try to come to a solution with this. You know, the project we just received recently, as of yesterday, from ODOT saying this could be at a standstill, it could be pushed back, which will increase not only the county's portion, but township's portion, everyone's portions if this gets pushed back, and it could be a significant increase. So yes, whether you put as a reimbursement of the 200, but it is still a reduction overall. And if this moves forward, or if it doesn't move forward, it will cost us more, everyone. So I appreciate you being attentive to it. If there's any questions, certainly moving forward, I'm here and available for it. And I have a feeling I'll be involved on some other councils with some water rates as well. So, but I appreciate you looking at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The vote, Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, and I'd just like to make a comment too, during discussion and with our department heads and with administrators and with trustees, that is part of a necessity, not part of public comment. That is part of our voting process. So just so you know that department heads will have the opportunity to come in and, you know, give us their concerns or update us as to how we need to be updated even before a vote.
Before we move on, I just want to say one other thing. The water rate issue has been something that started in my first week here, and for 3 months we've been debating it, asking questions, and I think that's good. You've seen a healthy discussion over the last 90 days, and I think that's how we got here today, is because each of us had questions. We debated the issue, and I think the resolution that we came up today is the best that we could get at this point in time. And I commend the other two commissioners and welcome the township trustees to be involved with it, and let's see where we go from here.
Yeah, we're all in this Trumbull County ship together.
Yeah, that's it. You know what this proved today? That this board's willing to take on the hard decisions and not play politics.
Thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner.
I'd like to make a comment also because I see we have our nurses union president sitting in the crowd here today from Trumbull. We've been involved in this Trumbull Insight issue now for more than a year. I guess it's been already, Tom. And we fought like hell to save the hospital. Commissioner Bernard and I were able to meet with the ownership of the hospital yesterday, face to face, to cut out all the rumor, to cut out all the he said, she said. It was a great meeting, I believe, that we had. They had asked for our help, not financially. Right now, where this sits is the hospital, I believe, is fighting to stay alive in this community. There's a chance they could take a parachute and jump out and bail on our community and save their assets. But I think they're in it for the long haul, that they want to stay relevant here with this hospital and fight to keep this hospital alive. What had happened in a nutshell, explained to us, was they've been providing services for 6 months now, and Stewart, the old owner, was still handling their billing per bankruptcy court and handling their record keeping, their billing, and basically, in essence, has not paid them for the services that they're providing. They're paying old debts off of new money that they're not entitled to. They had asked for our assistance, commissioner-wise, to help make contacts with our U.S. senators, our congressmen, in hopes that the U.S. Attorney General Bondi could potentially pursue criminal charges against this holding group to force them to give the money back. They could go after them civilly, which they said will be a long, drawn-out, multi-million-dollar battle that will bleed them dry, so there's no chance of them being able to reopen if they went that route. And in the end, per what Stewart did before, this new group, this holding group that is collecting the billing, will just file bankruptcy again, and then we'll have nothing but a moral victory. So Commissioner Bernard, I know, has reached out to Senator Marino, as did I. I reached out to Senator Houston's office yesterday and Congressman Joyce. We are asking, as representatives of our community, for them to get involved, at least on the federal level, to look into the bankruptcy proceedings that allowed this to happen, and to ask for any type of investigation, especially from the highest level possible, the Attorney General's Office of the United States, to look to see about them keeping the Medicare, Medicaid money that was earned by Insight that Stewart executives are keeping. Our hearts go out to all the nurses, the staff, the people in our community that are hurting right now, wondering about their paychecks. We do understand people were paid today. We were told by the doctor, the nurses, the staff is getting paid first. After that, they'll look at the doctors and the administrators. But their number one concern was get everybody paid, which I believe Mr. Conley had told us. He said he did hear that people were getting paid today. There's going to be a little bit of a battle down the road, but they do have a path to victory and a path to success if the cards fall in the right place. So as a commissioner, I'm asking the community to keep fighting. I'm asking the nurses to keep fighting. We know they got to do what's in the best interest of their families, but we are hoping that Insight can pull out of this thing, overcome the odds, beat this big governmental, I don't want to say governmental entity, but governmental caused entity, the bankruptcy court in Texas, and be able to survive in our community and keep providing the same great service they've given for the last 6 months.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Connolly, if I may add, because I do know that both commissioners have met with the CEO. I've been in contact with the governor's office. I've been in contact with the congressman's office. I've been in contact with the state representatives. And like Commissioner Malloy had said, our hearts go out to every one of your families, anyone experiencing any loss of income, and even more importantly, the fact that it looks like their hospitalization, which is a downright criminal act, is being pulled from them. There's only so much that the commissioners could do, but you have our full support 100% support and prayers that, you know, that we can get this all in order, Mr. Connolly, and that we can see these employees put back to work and get their families, you know, the provided health care that they need even. Commissioner, could you please, though, explain, I've had a lot of the employees reach out to me about the prior administration and that $3 million, which, as you recall from the opioid fund, you recall Warren had mentioned about going in on that, and then so they need to be explained as how that was working.
The last board had committed $3 million, as did the city of Warren, to help a local group purchase the hospital at the time. That did not happen, so we did not spend any taxpayer dollars on that. That money was put back into our budget. It was reutilized in other areas. That money's was never given to Insight or any other hospital. It was a pledge that we made at that time if a local group would have purchased it, which anybody that would have purchased it would be in the same situation that Insight's in right now. These people from Stewart are proving that they are worse each and every day. They got the best lawyers in the world. Their CEO is scot-free right now. Didn't even appear in front of Congress like he was supposed to, and he's insulated Mr. Del Toro. And it shows their attorneys are effective, and they are multi-million-dollar attorneys that if Insight fights them, they're going to have to fight them with multi-millions of dollars that they don't have right now. The CEO and their executives are reaching in their own bank accounts right now just to try to keep this thing afloat. They're doing everything they can to keep the licenses open, the pharmacy licenses. As a matter of fact, the CEO, owner, president of the hospital was there yesterday in scrubs, and he said if someone showed up at the door, he would have treated them if they needed it and then moved them on to another hospital. So he's been there for 5 days straight, sleeping in the hospital to make sure that he's staying on the ship, and he's making sure he's doing everything he can to keep that ship from sinking.
Mr. Chairman, I only have one comment before we let Mr. Conley speak. We met yesterday, as Commissioner Malloy said, it was probably an hour-and-a-half meeting. I was made aware of a lot of things that I didn't know. But what I came away from that meeting is a lot of it is in the hands of the federal judge in Texas, the bankruptcy judge. Okay. One thing that they explained to us yesterday, that the hospital was and is making a profit there. I mean, they told us that they were definitely making a profit. The problem is, from what he said, is they can't collect the money. And if that's true, then we need to find a way how they can start collecting some of the money for all the services that they're providing. Okay. He told us they want to stay there. They like the hospital. They understand how much need there is for this hospital. They just need to get out of this financial situation. They need help with the Medicaid and Medicare money. And if they're paid from what they're owed, then they could open the doors tomorrow.
And not only were they making a profit, he said he would venture to say they were one of the most profitable hospitals in Ohio had they collected the money correctly, and they would have bought the building even sooner than they had anticipated and been their own landlord. They were on track for that.
And I think he also said it was the most profitable hospital that they had. You know, they just need to collect the money that's owed them. So that's all I have to say. But, you know, yes, we support the community. We support the employees. You know, we just need to find a way to get it back open. Mr.
Thank you,
Conley.
Commissioners. Mr. Cohen,
Thank you for giving me a minute here, Commissioners. And
could you just give your name and?
yeah, my name's Tom Connolly. I'm the president of Local 2026, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. And I represent the registered nurses at Trumbull Hospital, but there are other union representatives that represent the maintenance workers, the members at Hillside Hospital. Don't leave Hillside out of this, gentlemen. And all of this. My take's a little bit different than yours, because we were working with them to make profits at the hospital. We were just getting ready to meet about trying to get our orthopedic floor open. And a week after that, we got told there'd be massive layoffs. A week after that, our CEO quit. A week after that, they came and told us we were gone, get out. It amounted to a lockout in my estimation. I don't know if a lawyer would agree with me, but what it meant was we were ushered off the job. We didn't even have time to gather our belongings. And we were deprived those 2 weeks of pay that were coming. We finally got that paid today, but we're still owed another week. We're still owed our vacation time, and our healthcare has been terminated. I have 3 ladies who are pregnant, expected to deliver within the next few months, have no health care insurance, and they throw COBRA in our face and tell us, well, you've got to COBRA. I can say that nobody in this room can afford COBRA, and I always made a pretty good buck. I couldn't afford it either. So that's just BS. The other thing is too, the most important thing, we all got stuff to worry about. We've got, Elon Musk in Washington, and we've got a war in the Ukraine, and we've got our economy, what it's doing and everything. But there is nothing as important to a citizen as when he's in the back of an ambulance or clutching his chest and trying to look for medical care. And to deprive this community of this medical care in this way is nothing short of criminal. We got told within hours that we were leaving, and the doctors had to call their patients that were scheduled for surgery and cancel them. Patients that were waiting for surgery for months, they canceled them within a half hour of their operation date with no instruction as where to go, no instruction of what to do, who was to follow them. They didn't even have access to their medical records then. If I'm saying things that are out of school, then I apologize, because I haven't been told any different. They refused to answer the phone every time I tried to call them. Just yesterday, we finally had a meeting with them. So apparently Dr. Shaw's been talking to you, but he hasn't been talking to us. And I can assure you this, we want the hospital back. We want our jobs back, and we want the community to be serviced by this hospital just as it has been for the last 100 years. But if this arrogance and so forth, lack of input from these employees continues, they're not going to get a single nurse coming back there. And you try and run a hospital without a nurse. And I'm as serious as my father's colon cancer about that. My members are enraged, and they're disoriented, and they're anxious about what the future presents for them, all scrambling for other jobs elsewhere. So I recommend, and I'm willing to work with this commission, with anybody that wants to sit down at a table and talk to us. I've asked for Dr. Shaw to talk to us. The only one they give us is the HR person who's from Chicago. I've never met her. She's been I met her, but I haven't talked to her in person for months because we meet on Zooms now. So Dr. Shaw gave us a goodbye speech that amounted to nothing. And the last thing I'm going to say, I always have a last thing. This is the last thing. We're getting tired of them blaming all of their problems on Stewart. Stewart's supposed to be gone. They were supposed to make sure that they were gone. They're the ones that are running this business. So don't come to me and tell me you can't pay me for what I did because Stewart didn't pay you. Get your lawyers working on them, but don't throw me out the door, and don't throw these patients out the door either. I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. And I do want to say this commissioner's board has always worked with us, as has the mayor's office, as have all the other things in the local community. These people are not from here, and now we don't trust them. So I thank you for your time.
Mr. Connolly, thank you. And I that's heartfelt, and I feel your heart and anger and passion for the employees. And please know that reach out to us. Let's sit down. We'll meet. Whatever we can do. We understand. It's just crazy the amount of fall that we're going to have here with those employees that aren't working, not to mention their families and health care and those things that are much needed in today's society. So meet with us, call us, keep in touch with us. We'll do what we can do. And please know that the commissioners, I know I speak for every one of us, we are on board with you and your employees. Thank you for your comments.
And my only comment is, you know what, we were blindsided just like you were. I mean, there was no notice. We were blindsided. we welcome your suggestions. Tell us what we can do, how we can help, because, we're in it with you.
Mr. Gargano, I think you want to mention the Kent State?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's
Name,
what I'm here
please.
for. John Gargano, Director of Trumbull County Job and Family Services. Unfortunately, I come with the news because of what has happened to those workers there. But we found out late Thursday last week, what was going on. And when we did, we communicated with the state, because the state normally takes the lead on these rapid responses. But unfortunately, they had other things going on, couldn't get to it for a period of time. So we asked if we could move forward with it, because knowing the anxiety that these people were having and what to do and so forth, that we got on it. And last Thursday, we were able to set up what's called a rapid response. And that is dealing with providing those individuals that were terminated, laid off, whatever, with information on how we can assist them in becoming reemployed. If not at the, obviously not at that hospital, but wherever they can. And we will provide them with assistance in doing that, providing information of updating their resumes, doing job searches and things of that nature. We also looked up, and Mercy Health, Akron Children's, and Cleveland Clinic are having openings there, so we'll provide some of that information. One of the things that they, when I talked with the union, not Mr. Conley, but somebody else, they said, what about unemployment? Unfortunately, we don't deal with the unemployment aspect. That's a different department of the Job and Family Services. We could give them, if they haven't already, give them some assistance of information of what they need to do and things like that. So that's why we got it set up as quickly as possible. We sent out the flyers and things like that. And that will take place tomorrow at Kent State Trumbull. And I have to thank Kent State Trumbull, because they stepped up and allowed us to use their auditorium, because we were scrambling to find someplace at least large enough that may be able to handle the individuals that do come in. The other thing is, prior to the pandemic, Job and Family Services, I should say the state housed some of their unemployment individuals there working, but when the pandemic came, they took them all out. But within the last year, they've provided one person there that comes on Thursday. So if some of those individuals that need some assistance or information, they would have to come to the agency on a Thursday, because that's when that individual is there. I know some of the people have already taken advantage of OMJ. I think on Monday, there was about 60 people that came in. But I can't impress enough to come there, and we will provide whatever we can moving forward.
Mr. Gargano, could you tell them how that works with their name, the last letters of their name? There's certain time criteria.
Yes, I didn't bring it with me, but I think it's A through L is at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then the second half is at 11 o'clock, but we also have, if some people can't make it at their times, we'll have somebody there at least at 1 o'clock to try to take care of them.
Okay, so I have here.
I believe that's on our commissioner's website. I
Yes.
have them put it on there.
I
Just
put it on there too.
A through K, 9 a.m. and L through Z, 11 a.m.
Right,
And
and
makeup session at 1
1
o'clock. Okay.
I want to thank you for that, but I think the goal is to having those nurses employed back at in site. That's our goal. Okay.
I agree
And-
with you
and-
100%.
And that's what we need to focus on. I mean, I commend you on what you're doing, but let's don't lose sight of the fact that we want that hospital reopened, and we want those nurses and that staff back there.
Oh, I agree with you 100%,
Right.
but because of the anxiety, because they
Right,
didn't know what to
yeah,
do and
right,
stuff,
right,
we're trying to provide
Right.
them whatever services
right.
we
And,
can.
and we appreciate that, but,
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Gargano. Before we move to public comment, I do have a couple of announcements. First announcement, I would like to congratulate our HR director, Alexandra DiVincenzi Bush, for her nominee in the Athena Award. It's a very prestigious award. There will be a reception on May 15th, at the Waypoint in Canfield, Ohio. Alex, you do a great job here for the commissioners and for the employees, and I think the nomination is well deserved. Congratulations. All right. I also want to make you aware that Trumbull County Wears Blue is on April 9th, 2025. This is in response to Child Abuse Prevention Month. Child abuse is preventable. So on April 9th, we do have our meeting here on Wednesday, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, Lisa. I think it's on the 9th. If you're here and you can remember to wear blue to, for this event, it would be appreciated. We are going to move forward with public comment. Keep in mind, any of the department heads, anyone that has had the opportunity to speak, having to do with county business, would be given more opportunity and time. We do welcome you to speak. You have 3 minutes, and you can enter and just give your name at the podium, please. Thank you.
My name is Sean Shook, Trumbull County resident. I'll try to keep it as short as I can. I do have two things I'd like to address here today, though. First one is regarding Mr. Hernandez and his building over there in Hubbard that he was leasing to the supposed sports bar. I have to say, sir, I am very disappointed in you. I believe you lied to the people. You recently said in an interview that you were going to not step down, that you were going to leave it up to the voters the next time around. Do you feel you left it up to the voters truly when you deceived the voters when you're campaigning to get here now? Now, you and I had a few conversations while you were campaigning, and your spa came up in those conversations, and you assured me in those conversations that you didn't know anything and that nothing was going on over there. Now, the body cam footage alone proves that's not true. Regardless of where the charges go, regardless of where that investigation goes, there's already proof that you deceived the people. That's what people are upset about. And for your lawyer to say that you had bad judgment makes me question your ability to lead this county. And I would ask that the Board of Commissioners take another vote to vote on a new board president moving forward. And I think that that's, under the circumstances, should be Mr. Bernard. That's all I'm going to say about that for today.
Thank you for your comments.
The next thing I'd like to address is it's come to my attention that we may have a little fraud going on over in the clerk of court's office. I think that there's some issues there with the Trumbull County clerk of court's office, Randy Law. I believe that he's unqualified. I believe he's not showing up for work very frequently. I believe he's hired Mr. Devin Stanley as his chief deputy to do his job for him. The problem is Mr. Stanley, from what I hear, isn't always there either. I hear that Mr. Stanley is, with Trumbull County struggling to balance budgets, potentially raising taxes, cutting the budget of departments. This is an egregious abuse of taxpayer dollars, what's going on over there. The documents I have given you there will support what I'm about to say. It shows that Randy Law's chief deputy, Devin Stanley, is paid 40 hours each work week by Trumbull County. Going all the way back to Margaret O'Brien, the chief deputy has always worked Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, same hours as the operation of the courts. However, Devin is not there on Wednesdays and Thursdays as he is in Girard Municipal Court, serving as their prosecutor, in which he also receives a full 40-hour paycheck from the city of Girard. Again, the documents are there. For work performed during their same hours of operation of their court, which is the same operation of Trumbull County's. Randy Law is fully aware of this fraud, I believe, and he signs off on the payroll. To add to the fraud, Devin is also representing clients during the same court hours from his private practice in various areas of courts, being paid yet again for time he is already paid for twice.
Mr. Shook, You're at 3 minutes, but go ahead. We'll give you a little more time, but not very much time.
In there, you'll see the docket from the Niles Municipal Court where on 3/5/25, Devin was representing a client on an OVI charge on a Wednesday when he was being paid by Trumbull County and the city of Girard. In essence, triple dipping. So because Randy has no idea how the court functions and doesn't even know how to do basic functions of his job, and with his chief deputy not being there full workdays on Wednesdays and Thursdays, oftentimes filings are not taken in and the court's business is not being processed during these times. But yet Randy has begun writing up union clerks over minor infractions while allowing this other issue to go on. Now, if Mr. Law tries to say that, Mr. Devon is working remotely in the evening hours, you can easily public records request the windows and the court view login dates and times from the Trumbull County Data IT.
Mr.
Also,
Shook, we're gonna have
I'm-
to,
I'm
we're
getting-
gonna
I'm
have to,
getting close.
you're
I don't want
you're,
to have to come back. FYI, the union has filed 3 grievances against Randy on 3/31/25, all separate issues involving different clerks. I'm asking the commissioners, I'm asking you, since you fund his significant budget, that you request an investigation into the clerk of court's office. And as a side note, Mr. Devin Stanley is also the Liberty Township trustee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shook.
Hello, Commissioners. We're here with some very good news for you today. Dimitri Leogas, Workforce Development Board, and Charles Ciapala, who is the Outreach Coordinator for the Veteran Services Commission. What we've done over the past 6 to 8 months is through conversations with the Veteran Services Commission Board and Workforce Development, we always partnered together in being able to provide referrals to each other. And during one of our conversations, we said, hey, can we do more? And through those conversations between Charles and myself is we have created a veteran services referral network for Trumbull County. So what that is simply an ability for individuals, if you're dealing with somebody and you're dealing with a certain thing like workforce or what have you, and then a veteran is saying, hey, I have food insecurities or I have I need some mental assistance, that this referral list allows you to be in the know as to who that you can refer to those certain entities to help that veteran get those services that are necessary. So we're very excited to be able to launch this. Chuck will talk about the launch here.
Yes, Charles Ciapella, Veteran Service Commission. We are having a launch next week at our office at 11 o'clock on Thursday, which you guys are all invited to. And the idea is to show you on the website that we have as the Veteran Service Commission, the box that you'll be able to click on to go to any entity in the county, any agency in the county that you may need help with, like Dimitri said, Job and Family Services, Health and Wellness, Community Outreach, anything that's there in our county is going to be up there. For instance, if you want education, Trumbull County TCTC is up there, Kent State Branch is up there, YSU is up there. You can go right to their hyperlink and you'll be able to talk to somebody or get information immediately, all from your laptop, your computer, your desktop, whatever it is, without having to jump through all the hoops. This is Trumbull County putting everything together as one. As you said, Mr. Miller, we're all in this together. So veterans have everything right there. They don't have to worry about going from one office to another, and this also assists their families as well. We hope that you guys can show up next week at the Veteran Service Commission, be a light lunch catered by Saratoga Restaurant here in Warren. We will have a lot of people from other agencies inside the county that will be there to represent their agencies and go over this. And we'll be able to show you the great work we're doing over at the Veteran Service Commission and with the workforce development.
Right, thank you.
No, that's wonderful.
We just started it, and we've already got 40 organizations and agencies within Trumbull County. And actually outside of it, we set the parameter to say anybody that can service a Trumbull County veteran can be on this list. So that's why we have YSU, and we'll have other entities throughout the region, but as long as they take care of a Trumbull County veteran, then they can be part of this referral list. So what happens is it's going to be on the website, but every of the referral network partners will have this at the front door, with all their workers and what have you. So if they're dealing with somebody and, or not somebody, if they're dealing with a veteran and the veteran identifies a need, like GI Joe said, knowing is half the battle, so that they know the different services that are available for veterans and specifically to try to refer them out. It can either be a hard referral, they can actually make fill it out. We have a referral sheet in the packet for you. We also have, they can do a soft handoff where they say, hey, let's call this entity. And then because we got the front door, so they'll be able to make that contact for them and give them a soft handoff so that they can get that, whatever issue that veteran has addressed.
Thank you,
So,
gentlemen.
uh,
That's wonderful service. Appreciate that.
Mr. Chair, I just like to, as a veteran, I'd like to congratulate you. This, everything we can do for our veterans, I think everybody is 100% behind it. I have one question. Is this strictly for the veteran or is this for the veteran's family also?
Could be for the veteran's family as well. As you know,
Good.
Mr. Bernard, there's veteran families who get benefits after a veteran is no longer with us. So there'll be access to these for them as well. Just like our office is always open to surviving spouses and their family members, this will help guide them to other things that they need to get in regards to their answers for their questions.
Right. And the state has, and the federal government has kind of changed the verbiage. It's veterans and eligible persons. So that
Right.
would include spouse and caregivers, et cetera. So yeah,
Good.
we give the same preference to all of those.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you on April 10th. I can't wait to be there.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
gentlemen.
Great collaboration of county resources coming together for common cause.
Board of Commissioners, my name is Keitsa Moore Brown. I'm here to address you guys in this room in regards to Ohio Public Acts Law, Sunshine Law, which give me the privilege right now to stand before you guys. Sir, ma'am, the probate court, I was threatened by the magistrate, Watson or Weston, that I would be put in jail if I inquired of certain records. Now, here in the law, it states a public office cannot deny or delay response to a public record request on the grounds that responding will interfere with the operations of the public office. I addressed you guys last week in regards to this matter. I did my due diligence. Sir, within the last year, when this occurred, I went back to them and I stated what the Ohio Supreme Court stated to me, that I am privy to 5 cases a day. Well, they looked at that, and every time I go over to the stone building on the corner of North Park Avenue and High Street, I am escorted over or I'm met with an officer with a gun. What is that? I'm going to be Keatsa all day long, and I am looking into a record in which that very court threatened my grandfather, Ernest Moore, to take his life over me getting hit. This was back in the 60s. I've been trying to get this information. I went over there on a 4th trip and I met someone from probation with a gun along with Joseph, and records had been redacted. I don't know what's going on and I want someone to look into it. I know they're simply separate entity from other courts, but they also have to give an account to you guys. I will be back every week addressing this. Mom Belda now had 4 children. My case is not settled. I will not be intimidated. I have a right, and it's called the Sunshine Law. And that gives me rights. Anything didacted, anything removed, it is as if I'm not getting it. They told me that they can only give me an hour. And when I get over there, I found out things are altered. I'm not playing with nobody here. I love my grandfather and I will be suing, and I have laws here that protect me. But gentlemen, ma'am, I will not be intimidated, and I have no disrespect for you guys, no disrespect for the court. But when I did call back over, I was told by one of the secretaries that Judge Frederica had stated that if I call back, it is considered harassment. Where do you do that at? Everyone, have a beautiful day. See you next week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Keith, let me ask, have you reached out to the Supreme Court that handles ethics complaints and
You have a
judicial
bar
things?
association, sir, right there.
I mean, it's above that. If there's a complaint regarding courts, they have a council that listens to things like that.
I
We
would-
don't oversee
You
The
do
courts,
not,
but-
but I will be here every week letting my taxpayer dollars know on this mic about those things that are occurring to me. That's what you are for. Yes, they have a board that's over them called the Ohio Supreme Court Judicial System. Any judge, any magistrate, anyone that takes notes are to come before them after they get it done. But at this time, they are giving me access. I am letting you know that things have been didacted. Just like when you bring a sheriff in here, they have a boss. When I come before you, they have a boss. I'm making it publicly aware. This is not something that is done just to me. When you do it to me, you're doing it to the county.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Green.
Hi, Julie Green, Trumbull County Planning Commission. I wanted to bring a few things up for the commissioners. For good news, we have Emily Moran of our office, the grants coordinator. She was named one of the 25 under 35 through the Mahoning Valley Young Professionals. So I wanted to congratulate her regarding that.
Is Emily?
No,
Emily she was here.
She was.
Did she leave?
Yes.
Okay.
But I wanted to recognize her. Also, I wanted to update all of you on the sesquicentennial activities. Commissioner Malloy had requested that I lead the memorial tree planting. And I did want to confer with our expert here if you have time later on. But I did get an email this week, and it is confirmed to be April the 23rd. I believe we still have to set a time, and I have questions for her regarding, the details, but I understand that the commissioners and our maintenance department and also our historical society will be involved in making sure that that goes off, and we'll be able to plant the commemorative white oak tree along with the city of Warren. So I'm coordinating that with all of the partners. And again, April the 23rd, mark your calendars, whether we have it in the afternoon or in the morning. I also want to mention, we don't have anything on the website yet, but the Northeast Ohio Planning Association hosts a planning and zoning workshop each year. And so the date for this year is Friday, June the 13th. It will be in the Eastwood Event Center. Trumbull County is hosting it this year. And we're working with the organizers to make sure that we have a great lineup of people, and we'll be advertising that with all of our zoning inspectors, everybody that we deal with, townships, cities, villages, very soon. We've had quite the week. I want to thank our IT department for getting us back up and running. I know we had some technological issues with, I think there was an accident somewhere, but I appreciate their helping us get back up and running in our office. And I know it affected a bunch of other offices. And one thing to be thankful for, though, is it happened this week and not last week, because last week our office submitted 5 different grants and over 40 reports. So I was grateful for that. And I just wanted to say we submitted over $3 million in grant requests last week. This week we asked for increased appropriations of $1 million for 2 different grants through our office. So that's all good news. And so just wanted to bring all of that information to you, and
Hey,
thank
Julie,
you again for your support.
Appreciate what the planning commission does. It's a very integral part of our county,
Thank you.
especially with granting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Mike Wilson, Director of Scope Senior Citizen Services. Just a couple of things. Item 19 reminded me when you were talking about the advisory board and their voting rights, and what they're doing is that House Bill 257, the new revisions, House Bill 257 takes effect next week, which allows governmental bodies that are volunteers to be able to participate through electronic and virtual means and not be forced to be at the meeting. So that might help you with what you've mentioned when you try to work on finding good volunteers to serve in these commissions, everything. I just wanted to remind you that. I don't know if anything's gone out. I know some of your agencies are on top of it because I've talked to them about that too. The other thing is it was a good report on the veterans program. Proud to announce that support services for veterans and families have moved into our Scope building here in downtown Warren. So we'll have direct contact to help any homeless veteran out with housing, food, jobs, things of that nature. They can all be taken care of that way. So we'll make sure we're talking to them about making sure we're on that network if we're not already on there. So I'm very excited that our parent company has done that with the referrals. The other thing is that our parent organization, which is Access Family Services, based in Ravenna, is now opening Valley Health Services, which is a federally qualified healthcare center, which we opening this month here in Warren, and hopefully by the end of the calendar year in Liberty Township at our 2 locations where Valley Counseling had been operating. So I just wanted to let you know that we're very excited that they're going to be able to have medical services, primary care, dental, psychiatric, with an in-house pharmacy. And I know with all the difficulties for our seniors and disabled on transportation getting back and forth, that this is certainly something needed. But I wanted to give you something positive that's coming from our parent company and what we're trying to do on those things. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. That's
Thank you.
great to hear. Thank you. Okay. Any additional comments from anybody here? Any commissioners, any comments from the?
I have one motion to adjourn.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll second their motion.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.